Hi everyone, my name is Devaney Ayers and I'm here to invite you to partake in my OD method, Dream It, Draft It, Do It. What is Dream It, Draft It, Do It? It's basically a way of holding yourself accountable to fulfilling your dreams, and it focuses on the emotions that go into the action steps taken to achieve your goals. So, I'm still all about focusing on the power of the written goals, positive affirmations, and believing in yourself. And on the right, you'll see a visual I created for my first class with Steve Cady, and it just talks about all the things that I really care about, and I still care about to this day, which is, self-advocacy, finding your purpose, respect, seizing the day, acceptance, and believing in yourself. Alright, so my story. So I've been teaching students with autism for the past 8 years, and I really want to expand my knowledge and to really focus on working with all different types of people and all the great things about each person. So I really just want to help inspire people to figure out what they might be missing in order to help get them to the next phase of their goal. And I'm definitely very interested in personal development and growth. So I like this quote: if you have a goal, write it down. If you don't write it down, you don't have a goal, you have a wish. And that's very true, and that's a huge basis of what my method is about. So now we're going to discuss Dream It, Draft It, Do It. So this is Dream It, Draft It, Do It at a glance. So the first step is you're going to dream it. I want you to imagine a goal that you have for your life, and it could be something that could take a month to many, many years. It all really depends on you, but for this method, I would choose something that at least takes a month, and then I want you to outline that goal. So you imagine the goal, you know what you want to do. Now you need to outline all the steps that are taken to get that goal. Once you've done that, you're going to be drafting a letter to your future self, and you're going to be writing it in the past tense as if you already had gotten it. So you're basically pretending that you achieved your goal already. And then the last step is you're going to be taking action towards your goal. Here you see the Dream It, Draft It, Do It. It is the visual guide, and it's the more in-depth visual guide for how to make this method work for you. So in phase 1, dream it. So I want you to imagine the goal that you would like to achieve, and I want you to think about how great it's going to feel when you do achieve it, and all the steps you have to take to get you there, and how those steps are going to feel to take and have them checked off your list, and also how you're going to feel overall once you achieve that goal and how it's going to change your life. So now what you need to do is you have to record those answers somewhere. You can either do it with a journal and a pen and paper, or you can use it electronically with Google Docs or Microsoft Word. But you definitely need to write these down because you're going to need to refer to them for the drafted step. So the second step is called drafted. So you're going to be composing a letter to your future self, pretending you already achieved the goal. So it should be written in past tense. Like, I'm so glad that I achieved this goal. And you're going to discuss in your letter how it has changed your life for the positive, how you felt once the goal was achieved, all the action steps you had to take to achieve the goal, and how they felt along the way. And then you can even consider adding deadlines for yourself if you would like to, and make it as a part of an action step. So you could say something like, it was so great that we wrote to people for letters of recommendation by March of 2018. Now, that's not necessary, but it's just an option. And then you can sign your name. So on my letter, I signed your January 2018 self, because that's when I wrote my letter. So where do you compose your letter? Well, you have two choices, just as in what I discussed with having it either be electronic, either in Microsoft Word or Google Docs, or it can be with pen and paper in a journal. I'm sure you're probably thinking, okay, so I write this letter, and then what do I do with it, or when do I read it again? Well, you're going to read it the same time if you either do the journal and the pen and paper version or if you do the electronic version. And basically, I want you to think of the time you think the goal will be achieved by. So it's based on what you want to do for yourself. And whatever timeline you create for this goal, you will read your letter at that time frame. So if you do it electronically, this is a really cool aspect of this method, but you do not have to use it. But first, what you need to do is once you type it up, make sure you save a copy of it for your reference. That way you can go back and look and mentally check things off the checklist of the things you had to get done. And there's a lot of different future letter writing services that are emails. So you can basically post-date a letter to yourself, and it will be emailed back to you on a date that you choose in the future. So you could pick whenever you would like to have this goal achieved by. And then you don't have to worry about it. It will be emailed back to you. Now, if you used a journal or just pen and paper, so what I would like you to do is just take a really quick photo of your letter, so that way, again, you have a record of it. You can look and see what is going on and kind of mentally check off what you're doing. And then you can read your letter when you would have achieved the goal. And the last step is do it. So you just have to take action. So that's why you can review the copy of your letter at any time, and then start completing all the action steps that you discussed in your letter. And you can feel free to check them off mentally, or you can actually check them off, on a piece of paper. And make sure you celebrate your hard work along the way. That is huge. Celebrate the fact that you got and successfully accomplished X, Y, and Z. So a lot of people have been wondering how this is a little bit different than a to-do list, or how this is different than goal writing. Well, my answer to that is a to-do list is an excellent tool if you use it. And I know for myself, I don't use it. I have tons of to-do lists, and they definitely are not getting finished. So part of the success story, this is a partial success story for this method, because my goal was to change careers within 6 months, and I started in January, so I have up until June. But it's now the end of March, and I've already achieved a lot of the action steps along the way, and these are things that I've been postponing for years, like redoing my resume, and searching for different kinds of jobs, and asking for updated letters of recommendation. So just the fact that I wrote this letter to myself has gotten me to do all of these steps that have not been done and that have been on my to-do list for years. So as you can see here, this is just the list of action steps that I had to do, and I already mentioned a few, but basically just anything you'd think of that you need to change careers. So this is the example letter. So, dear future Devney, congratulations. You are now in a new career in the OD and change field. This is incredibly exciting. As you embark on your new career path, take a moment to reflect on all you accomplished along the way. You did such a phenomenal job redoing your resume. It looks so professional, and it truly reflects all the skills you can offer a company. You asked for letters of recommendation in enough time that you gave your recommenders ample time to write excellent letters. When you were waiting for those, you spent a lot of the time researching and locating potential jobs, as well as the career outlook for each type of job. You even created a spreadsheet for yourself with all the different information so you could keep everything organized for the job hunt. And the cover letter you crafted was for each job really truly set you apart from the other candidates, and you should be immensely proud of yourself. And now you can officially say you're an OD professional. Great work. Love, your January 2018 self. So now just a little bit of background research on positive thinking. So there was one study that was done that suggested and discussed that there would be there was one study done that discovered that people who have a positive attitude have a harder work ethic, and they don't let obstacles get in their way and let this stop them. So they will continue to work hard. Something else in something called Design Your Ideal Life talks about how when you write your letter to your future self, you don't have to focus on how you're going to get each individual thing. I mean, obviously you're going to have action steps, but just really focus on the feelings and just let your imagination run wild with what you want to do with your life. Kaleidoscope thinking, this is a really cool concept. It's basically a mental process where you shake up the pieces and then you reassemble them to form a new pattern. So your reality is not fixed and you can actually make changes now that can really reflect your reality in the future. So the benefits of using my method: increased self-esteem, accountability. That's a huge one for me that I've noticed. You can regularly review the action steps, and it challenges you to think about the goal and how to make your life better and the feelings that go with it. So it's not just a checklist or a to-do list, it's the feelings that go with that help you to motivate you to do all the steps on your list to achieve your goal. It can be used for professional, so it can be used in addition to annual review or evaluation. It's not used instead of, but it can be used with it. And also for an organization, what's nice about that is it could really help show people their commitment to the company, because if during an employee evaluation, someone's saying in 5 years I want to be at this part of the company, it's really showing that they're investing in themselves and it's going to make the company want to invest in them. So the methodology, it comes from the 6 design elements, which are come from the Change Handbook, which is Katie Matthews and Matthews. The system for my method is really just to empower everyone, and it's best for individuals. It can be used for groups, but it's a little bit easier for an individual to hold one person themselves accountable than holding the whole group accountable. The values. So the values I still believe in are just, there is potential in everyone. Working in the autism field, I see that every day. Self-advocacy, and then, respect and acceptance for everyone, and also just supporting people and helping them follow their dreams. Evidence. So this is something that, it's kind of like that Steve Maraboli quote, the goals that are written down are just wishes. And it's true, because oftentimes people don't stick to all the steps they need to. So this is actually my second master's degree. My first one is in autism and behavior, and I deal with crisis management every day, and so I really know that positive thinking helps my students, and it helps me. So I'm really hoping that this method will help other people, and in August of 2018, I will also have a Master's of Organization Development and Change. So the model for this is, what matters is not how you see, the model for this is, what matters most is how you see yourself. And so it's, again, just about, empowering yourself, and also, helping people realize that there's things that, like, other people might see that are really good about them that they might take for granted or not notice. So it really focuses on people's unique gifts, and it just helps people to dream big. The journey is very dependent on the goal. So if it's a short-term goal, such as you are planning on doing a 30-day healthy eating plan, you could focus on that versus the 6-month goal I did of a career change. And the purpose is really to increase confidence and just help people to achieve their goals in a creative way that motivates people. So this is the website. It's futureme.org. So if you're interested in doing this and you want to write a letter to yourself digitally, you can use this website. And then you just go in and you'll click when you want it to send, and it will send it back to you at that time. So going forward, I'm definitely interested in more of self-authoring and being able to write about how you want your life to be and how it will actually impact your life positively in the future and past authoring, and then also just focusing on more positivity in the workplace and just tons of articles about these topics. And then here are the references. And I encourage you to check out these websites if you're interested. Thank you so much for listening.